Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody's Monday is going well and you are ready for a new and delicious recipe. Now in my household, whether it is hot outside or cold outside, we are always in the mood for a nice pot of chicken or any type of provision soup. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys my recipe for a chicken and provision soup. We're going to have some nice fluffy duff on the top and lots of different veggies and chicken running throughout. So if you guys want to check out how to make this, please keep on watching. Whenever I make provision soup with chicken or any meat in it, I love to season the meat beforehand because I find that the meat soaks up the flavor much better. So I have my chicken here. It's just about half of a whole chicken that I've chopped up and I've washed really well, and I removed all of the skin and any excess fat. Now what I've done is I've added in some black pepper, some onion flakes, as well as some garlic powder. And now I'm going in with some dried parsley. Now if you have fresh parsley or any herbs that you want to use, you can add it in during this time. And I'm also going to go in with some Guyanese thyme. And I'm also going to go in with some homemade green seasoning. If you guys want to see how to make this green seasoning, I'll have it linked on my channel. It'll be linked in the description box right below. So we're just going to stir this up and I'm going to let this marinate for just about 30 minutes because I have a little bit of time before I put together my soup. Now, being that I'm cooking my soup outside today, I wanted to go ahead and prep everything needed for the soup so this way it is ready to go as the soup is cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare the duff or the dumpling dough that is going to go into my soup later on. So in my bowl here, I have some all-purpose flour and I'm going to go in with some baking powder. I'm also going in with some black pepper as well as some salt. You can add in any types of spices or seasonings into your duff, or you can also make them plain by just putting in a little bit of salt and omitting that black pepper. Once I go in with those, I'm also going to go in with some olive oil. And once you go in with your olive oil and you mix it in, you're going to add in some warm water a little bit at a time until you get to a semi-soft dough. You don't want something that is super soft as if you were making roti, but you don't want it too hard either. So that's why I'll say about semi-soft. So we're going to go ahead and just cover that with a damp paper towel once you're done mixing it, and we can work on making the rest of the soup. At this point, we're going to start to put the soup together. In my heavy bottom pot here, one that is tall enough and wide enough to go ahead and fit everything that we have to fit in here for this soup, I'm going to go in with a little bit of oil and allow that to heat up. Once the oil heats up, I'm going to go in with some brown sugar. And the reason why I'm going in with brown sugar is because I actually like to stew my chicken or my meats that I'm going to put into the soup just a little bit, so this way they pick up that nice brown color. I'm not a fan of when I see soup or when I'm eating soup and the chicken or the meat is like gray looking or white. I really like it to have a nice color to it. So by all means, this is not a traditional provision soup Guyanese style. It's just my own version and my own twist on how I make it. So I'm going to stir around that brown sugar on a medium-high heat, and I'm going to wait for it to melt and begin to bubble up. After about 3 minutes, you're going to see that that sugar melts, it starts to bubble up a bit, and it darkens in color. So once you get to that stage, you're going to go in with your marinated chicken or whatever meat you're using. So I'm just going to leave that chicken there for a little bit, maybe about 1 to 2 minutes, so this way it can soak up that flavor and start to get nice and caramelized on the bottom. And then after about a minute or two, I can go ahead and I can toss it up. And I'm just going to cook that chicken until it is released all of its natural juices and those juices dry back up. And then the chicken starts to brown again. It's been about 15 minutes at this point, and that's how long it took for my chicken to get nice and brown and crispy around the edges, just like you're seeing here. So at this point, I'm going to go in with some aromatics right on top of the chicken. I have my pimento peppers, which are optional if you can't find them, some chopped garlic, and my wiri peppers. Again, if you guys cannot find the wiri peppers, you can swap out any other hot pepper of your choice. At this point, I am also going to go in with a little bit of finely chopped culantro. Now I'm just adding this in because I have it on hand. By all means, if you wanted to go ahead and use some cilantro or any other type of herbs, you can do that as well. And at this point, I'm going to go in with some more veggies. I have some chopped celery, chopped carrots, and some chopped onions. And all of these things that I'm adding in, they're going to give this soup an incredible flavor. And trust me, if you have them on hand or have the means to get them, definitely do not omit it. So I'm going to stir this around with the chicken. I'm going to cook it up for about 3 to 4 minutes, or just until those veggies start to soften up a bit, and then I'll show you what to do next. My veggies have been cooking with the chicken for about 4 minutes at this point, and as you guys can see on the bottom of the pot, I've picked up all of those little brown bits that were sticking before from that chicken, and all of the veggies have softened really well and added a nice flavor. So at this point, I'm going to go in with some boiling hot water, and you want to use hot water so you don't bring down the temperature of the pot and everything starts to boil right away. And this is going to take a good amount of water. You really want to fill up the pot about 3/4 of the way, so this way you have enough broth for all of the other veggies and the provisions that we're going to have to add in later. While you're waiting for that water to come up to the boil, you want to go ahead and re-season, because remember, since we added in that water, we diluted the flavors just a little bit. So I'm going in with a hefty amount of salt to flavor the entire dish, and I'm going in with some more black pepper. We're going to give that a nice mix and wait for it to come up to the boil. Once your broth mixture comes up to a boil, you're going to start layering in your provisions. The first thing that I'm going in with is my cassava or yuca, and I'm going to add in some more chopped culantro just so I can keep layering on the flavors. I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes, just so this way that yuca or cassava can soften up a bit before I start to add in my other provisions. As my cassava is boiling, I'm going to re-season with just a couple more spices. I'm going in with some more of that dried parsley. I'm going to go in with a little bit of granulated garlic, or you can use some more fresh garlic at this stage. And I'm also going to go in with a little bit of tagine seasoning. Now, if you guys have never had tagine seasoning, basically it's like a lemon and pepper seasoning, and it's really great. It adds a nice little soury note to anything that you added in, and a little bit of a kick. After 5 minutes of adding my yuca in and they've softened up just a little bit, I'm going to go in with my plantains. Now, these plantains are not super green, but they're not super ripe either. They're somewhere in the middle. This is the way that my family and I like it, but you can use the ripe or the green version, just depending on your own tastes and preferences. And the next ingredient I'm going in with right on top of that is some frozen butternut squash. This right here is a lifesaver, especially if you're making soup or cook-up rice or something like that and you wanted to add some pumpkin or butternut squash in. And after you let those plantains and the butternut squash cook for about 10 minutes, you're going to go in with your okra. The okra doesn't take that long to cook. It only takes about 5 to 6 minutes to cook through. So that's why I'm adding it in at this point. As soon as I add in my okras and everything is bubbling up, I'm also going to go in with a couple handfuls of elbow noodles or macaroni noodles. Now, you can use any type of pasta or noodles of your choice. I just am using these elbow noodles today because that's what I have on hand, but you can also omit them if you didn't want any pasta in it. I let my okra cook with the soup for about 6 minutes, and as you guys can see, they've cooked down just a little bit. Now, at this point, I am going in with some fresh baby spinach. This is just some spinach that I had on hand. You can also use frozen spinach, or you can use any other type of spinach variation of your choice. And once you add that in, you're also going to start to add in your dumplings. And the dumplings are the last thing that you want to add in because they take the least amount of time, and that's to add in as your soup is finishing up. So I'm just going to start pinching pieces of my dough and then rolling it in between my hands to make little logs, as you're seeing here. And then I'm just going to drop them into the pot. So once I get them all into the pot, I'm going to lower the heat to a medium-low heat, and I'm going to cover the pot and allow it to just sit there and steam for exactly 10 minutes. And after that 10 minutes, I can go ahead and open the cover, and the dumplings should have doubled in size and they should be done cooking. So it's been about 10 minutes since I put those dumplings in, and as you guys can see, they've steamed really well and they've gotten really big. So I'm going to turn off my heat now. Everything is perfectly cooked and this soup is ready to eat. Of course, you're going to want to go ahead and give it a quick taste and make sure if you want to adjust your salt or pepper or anything like that, and then you can serve it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my quick and simple recipe for this chicken and provision soup. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet and become part of the Matthew's Guyanese cooking family. And of course, leave those comments down below and let me know what I should make next. I'll see you guys again very soon in one of my next videos. Bye everyone.